For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command. Love your neighbor as yourself. Galatians 5:14. Well, my name is Troy Beans with 78freethrows.com. To love yourself. Yeah, we talk about loving our neighbor, but talking about loving yourself. You can love yourself four ways. Love yourself physically, love yourself emotionally, love yourself intellectually, and love yourself spiritually. Today I'm going to talk about loving yourself emotionally. Now think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where someone lied to you? I mean, someone just flat out lied to you, maybe in kind of a big way. And when the realization hits, and you're just like, oh, man, can't believe they did that. I mean, they just lied to me, just right to my face, hoping I never find out, and I did, and it just shakes you. It just makes the world seem like a very uncomfortable, discombobulated place of chaos. It's not comfortable. So what does this have to do with loving yourself emotionally? We don't like people lying to us. We don't like that kind of dishonesty. But we're not talking about your neighbor right now. We're talking about you. Loving yourself. To really love yourself, do you lie to yourself? So often, it's easy to get caught up in the blame game and say, I do this, but so-and-so does, my wife, my girlfriend, my spouse, my boyfriend, whoever it is, gets in the way. My boss, my parents, teachers. It doesn't matter. It can be a world of people that are the reason why we act a certain way. Stop and think about your own self. When you can just look down inside and start going, okay, what are the things that inhibit me? And what am I not being honest with myself about? And I mean really start to dig. I know some of you may go, I ain't going there. Well, but when you do, when you start to go there and you start to go, okay, I'm not really being honest about this in my life. I've never really looked at the bottom of this. And you start to open up that door, and that tends to lead to another door. And yes, sometimes it can be painful. Sometimes it can be difficult. And sometimes you're going, oh, man. But the key here is you unearth this stuff. And you start to be honest with yourself. And you start to understand what it means to love yourself emotionally. I mean, really love yourself emotionally. I mean, you're taking care of yourself physically, and now emotionally, you're being honest. And so when someone comes along who does something to you in such a way, and not good, and you just love them back. Or let's say you're really loving someone. I mean, you're really going out of your way for someone. And they don't even thank you. They don't even care. And it's easy to go, well, you know what? They're not treating me well, so why would I do that again? But when you love yourself emotionally, all of a sudden the need to have them love you back goes away. I mean, it's always nice to be loved. I mean, we love that. But when you love yourself emotionally, then you love without expecting anything in return. Why? Because you know you're loved. You know you're cared for. That's an amazing, powerful place to be in your life. The amazing body that God gave us. And physically, when we take care of it, wow, we feel better. And then emotionally, when we start to dig through the baggage of our lives and we start to go, okay, where am I responsible? Sure, there's a lot of crud in your life you're not responsible for. You're not responsible for the actions of another person. You just aren't. But you are responsible for your response to their actions. Were you faithful to yourself in the way you responded? When you start to be emotionally in love with yourself, and you start to see how beautiful that is, and you start to see the incredible love that God has for you, because God's love is always giving and never expected something in return. And when you start to touch that, you're walking on holy ground. You're in an amazing, good place. I challenge you. I challenge you. You don't have to dig through your whole life, but start with something. Something that inhibits me, keeps me back. You know, a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I've had multiple things that inhibit me. I had no clue. But over time, I dig through them. Will I ever be done with this process? I don't imagine so. But it's worth it. I mean, it's beyond worth it. Because when you start to love yourself, your capacity to love your neighbor goes way, way, way up. And everything in your life improves. Everything gets better. I'd love to hear what you think of this. I'd love to know what your comments. Please leave them below. You have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.